Hi, I'm Larry McAtee, Ward 3 City Councilman, and what a delight it is today to have Mary Margaret Jones from Hargraves and Associates here. Mary Margaret, thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be with us today.
I'm very happy to be here.
And now our listeners are out there saying, who is Mary Margaret Jones? And you are a FASLA, I understand, which stands for something very secretive and creative. But you also have some skeletons in your closet as far as your background. How about giving our viewers just a brief overview of your background?
Sure. Well, FASLA is, I'm a fellow in the American Society of Landscape Architects. So I am a landscape architect, urban designer. The skeletons you might be referring to might have to do with my education. I went to both University of Texas, Austin, and Texas A&M University, so I can go both ways. I grew up in Baytown, Texas, so I'm a native Texan.
And now you're with Hargraves and Associates, and the city is contracted with Hargraves to do a very great service for us. And what is that?
We are very pleased and privileged and lucky to be designing the new 70-acre downtown park. This will be an urban park in the core, the heart of downtown. It really grows out of the vision originally established in the Corridor Shore Plan, the idea of linking downtown to the river with this great urban park. It is a unique thing happening in Oklahoma City and something other cities are just sort of wowed by.
Well, why should Oklahoma City have this type of a park?
Well, all great cities have great urban parks. And the reason is because it is a place of identity, it's a place of common ground, it's a place for everyone. It's a place where everyone in the city can call their own, and it will have something for everyone to do of all ages and all segments of the population. And every visitor will want to go there.
Well, now, my ward that I represent is kind of remotely removed from downtown Oklahoma City. They're probably anywhere from, the closest proximity, maybe 6 miles, up to 25 or 30 miles from the downtown park. Why should my citizens be excited about what you're doing in the downtown park?
Well, it's a really good question, and it's one that we encounter in any city we work in. It's a very valid question. First of all, it's a place that represents Oklahoma City for anyone who lives in the city, no matter what part of the city. So it's about identity, and it's about a cultural expression of Oklahoma City. So that's the sort of spiritual side of it. It's yours. The other side of it is there will be great things to do. And so people from the outlying parts of the city will want to come at certain times because there will be great things to do, and they'll want to bring their visitors there to see it.
Well, let's talk about some of those great things and how big it's going to be and where we are. The park is envisioned to be how many acres?
70 acres, which is a great size.
What's going to go on in that park as you've currently been involved in the design?
Well, one of the things that is so great about a park of that size is that it will allow a wide variety of things to do. For instance, Myriad Gardens has a great lawn, a sort of grand lawn that's a little under an acre. Well, the great lawn in Central Park, because of the scale of the park, will be able to be 6 times that size. Will be able to be over 6 acres. So imagine the festivals and the events that might draw 20,000 people. So imagine that. Then imagine picnics, bicycling, a lake. Not a huge lake, but a lake big enough for recreation, for paddle boats, for rowboats. So recreating on the lake. There'll be play areas, spray ground for kids, things for adults to do, a cafe, a casual cafe, a cafe with a warm hearth, a place that will feel very much of Oklahoma City, big shade structures, urban gardens, bike trails. Bike trails are very important, and bike trails of different types. So the bike lanes and the bike paths for people who want to go fast on their bikes, and then the shared trails for people who are slower on their bikes, and then trails that are not for bikes. So the full realm of exploration will be possible throughout the park. And of course, don't forget the asset that already exists that crosses I-40, the new Skydance Bridge. The park will create that connection to Skydance Bridge, and then eventually all the way to the river.
And so we kind of look at it like we have an upper park and a lower park,
Exactly.
and the Skydance Bridge is the hook between those two.
Right.
How do you see the park being developed?
Well, it will be developed in those two parks. The upper park will be first, north of I-40, and then the lower park will be second to the river, but even within the upper park, there will be a phase one. And our next step after we conclude the master plan is to focus on what's the best way to use the phase one dollars to get the most bang for our buck immediately, hopefully even next year.
So the residents of Oklahoma City could conceivably see some part of the park even being completed sometime in 2014, by the end of 2014?
That's our hope.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, the process that's gone through, this has not been just done by your company and just a small group of experts. We as Oklahoma Cityans have been involved, haven't we?
Absolutely. We have had, we will have had 3 public meetings during this master plan process, but we have had dozens of focused meetings as well with specific interest groups, specific stakeholders, from the biking community to the Latino community, because I know you'll want to talk about this a little bit. We touched the edge of Manuel Perez Park. We'll be talking to people who host and put on festivals and big events, because we want to make sure we design the park to accommodate those well. So there has been a lot of public input to this process.
We just mentioned Manuel Perez Park. Many Oklahoma Cityans, unfortunately, don't know about that little jewel that has been buried for a number of years. How about giving our viewers a background and how that will integrate into our park?
Well, we feel strongly that the linkage should be very strong, and by that linkage, leverage the possibilities of the storytelling of both parks, both the Manuel Perez Park and this new downtown park. Manuel Perez was an American hero, and to have that story be more illuminated through access and through linkages from this park, we think is very important. So imagine if you're walking down the promenades. Our park, Central Park, will have a promenade that directly links from the boulevard in downtown all the way to the river. Imagine if along that path you see some inscription in the paving that says, this way to the river, this way to meet an American hero. And that way is the way to Manuel Perez Park. So in our park, across from Manuel Perez Park, we'll provide a plaza, a gazebo, a place for gatherings, and a recreational field nearby, so that the use of the park can be expanded.
Now, when we talk about an American hero, real quick, who was Manuel Perez? I'm going to put you on the spot.
Well, he was a war hero and these are some of the things I do know. I know that he was born here, but he lived for a time in Chicago, and there is a Perez Park in Chicago. And it's really sort of sad that he's maybe in some ways more recognized in Chicago than he is in Oklahoma City, and it's time to make him a part of the heritage of Oklahoma City as a whole.
Because when we talk about a war hero, he was a Congressional Medal of Honor winner.
That's right. That's right.
Of Hispanic descent.
That's right.
And so this honors our Hispanic community and their heritage in the area of the Central Park.
Absolutely.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned the boulevard. How have you, in your design of the park, interfaced with the folks in the boulevard and with the convention center and Myriad Gardens?
Well, one of the great things that's happening right now, and again, this is something fairly unique. We don't often see this in other cities, but the planners of all those different projects are meeting together in coordination meetings. So streetcar alignment, the boulevard design, the convention center design, and the development of the blocks surrounding the park, all of the elements of realizing the corridor plan in a way. All of those groups are meeting together periodically, and we are working together to make all those projects work together. And very specifically, we will be specifically looking at the nature of the boulevard for the 5 blocks in downtown, and really specifically between Robinson and Hudson, to see how we can make the boulevard be special, be a real announcement of entrance to downtown, and how it can become a kind of a special place that links from the convention center to the park, and thus all the way down to the river.
So I hear words like cooperation, coordination, and I don't hear words like competition. There's not a competition going on between the Myriad Gardens and the Central Park, is there?
Absolutely not, because we think Oklahoma City needs both. We think they will be quite different one from another, and at the same time we think that the linkage of the two, one to another, achieves something much greater in the sum of its whole than just the parts represent. For instance, Myriad Gardens has an intimate intimacy of scale, and it has the botanical theme, and it has a lot of the assets one would hope to have in a park that's very much in the core of downtown. Central Park is so much bigger, and by that difference in scale, able to offer very different things to do. So we see people coming to one and then wanting to go to the other and then wanting to go back to the other. And of course then by linking them through the convention center site, you make that transition and journey to the river, which is not such a far journey. It's amazing to me when I come into downtown, because taxis bring me from the airport. And they bring me up Shields, and so I see Skydance Bridge, and I see Devon Tower, and I see the Chesapeake Arena and its new improvements, and it's all pretty close together, really. It seems like they're far separated apart from each other in quite far distances because there's nothing happening between them, but in fact, it's not that much distance, and once we make a place as a destination, they'll feel very linked.
Now, you've had the opportunity to make a place in some other cities like Louisville and Houston. How does this compare to what you did in Louisville and Houston?
Well, in different ways, it compares to each of those. The park we did in Houston is called Discovery Green. It's only 12 acres, so it's not as big as this park opportunity, this downtown park opportunity. But it was similar in that it was linking parts of the city that were disconnected. It was taking a part of the city that was sort of blight and surface parking and making it a place of destination, and it has become that. I was so happy the day I came to town and had the taxi driver say to me, "Have you been to Discovery Green?" And that's when we knew that we had, achieved. We had made it. And kids come in school buses to Discovery Green. Families come for the day to Discovery Green. So those surrounding communities that you were asking about earlier, they go there. It's a destination. Louisville is a similar city size, I'd say, to Oklahoma City. So there's more comparisons there in terms of population size. And that park is a 100-acre park. And that park connects downtown to its river. So it took a kind of riverfront city and gave it back its riverfront address.
Mary Margaret, I hope our viewers have captured your enthusiasm and your passion. And I guess if I could sum it up, see if I'm on the right track. This park is going to be a place. It's going to be a destination. It's going to have a spiritual dimension. It's going to draw people from all the 620 square miles of Oklahoma City, plus the surrounding areas, down to avail themselves of the beauty and the activities that are going to be there. Does that do it?
I couldn't have said it better.
Hey, thank you for coming. Viewers, I hope you are looking forward to that day when our park will open up. Mary Margaret, thank you for your dedication, for your team's dedication. May God bless each of you, viewers, as we look forward to the great day when our Central Park will be open and available as a destination and a place. Thank you for watching.